All right, today I'm gonna show you what a used car dealer pays for this Jeep Wrangler at auction. And we're also gonna have a contest and give one of you guys $100. All right, so a lot of these cars behind me, they actually concern me. All these cars that you're seeing that I'm walking past right now are repos. And what we've seen in the data lately is that the auto loan delinquencies and the repo rates are spiking. So what does that mean for our economy? That's not good, because people are going to pay for their cell phones. One, sad that I have to actually say that, but cell phones, number one thing they're going to pay for. They're going to pay for their housing second, either their rent or their mortgage. They're going to pay for food, and then they're going to pay for their cars. So if they are starting to not pay for these vehicles, then that means there's a lot less money in the system. A lot of other things are costing them a lot more money, and they're just not able to actually pay for these vehicles. And anytime we go into an economic downturn, we can see that the repo rate goes up well before that. The auto loan delinquencies go up before that. But one thing that we're not going to see in the data is the cars that I'm talking about back here, because they're being repoed by small mom and pop buy here, pay here shops. And you're never going to see that show up in the data because they don't have to report to anyone. When auto loan delinquencies go through banks, they're publicly traded companies, and they have to report that data to their shareholders to be able to see what's going on with the money that is being lent out. And the people who buy from these smaller buy here, pay here shops, they're going to be in the lower end. They're going to be the lower income earners of our economy. And when we go through a downturn, when we go through a recession, it's always those people who get hit the hardest and get hit first. So now that we're seeing all these repos start to jump up at these wholesale dealer auctions, that just tells me that we're about to go through a big downturn. We're about to go through a big recession, because as these people can't afford to be able to spend money on their cars, that also means that they're not going to be able to spend money on other things. They're not going to be able to go out to eat. They're not going to be able to go buy electronics. And that means there's going to be less money in the system, meaning they're spending money at they're spending less money at other businesses. And these businesses, they need them to spend. So as they spend less money, then these businesses are going to make less money. They're going to be able to hire less people. There are going to be job cuts. We're already seeing that in a lot of the tech fields, that people are losing their jobs. And it's just a big setup, not only in the used car market. It's more of just using this as a foreshadowing of what's coming to the overall economy. So as far as the used car market is concerned, the inventory is still ridiculously low, but even though that we're getting these repos spiking up and coming through the system, it's still not going to crash the used car market, just because the lack of new car dealer trade-ins coming to these auctions is so low that it's not going to be able to really handle the deficit of the new car trade-ins as far as these repos coming into the system. So that's something that I want to continue to pay attention to as I'm going to these dealer wholesale auctions, is the amount of repos that are coming to the system. Because like I said earlier, you're not going to be able to see this stuff in the data. We're going to have to actually look with our eyes and see how many of these cars are coming to auction. So I'm going to be keeping up with that for you guys. But now let's go look at some cars, and I'll show you what dealers are going to pay for a lot of these wholesale units. All right, this was a good one for us to check. It's a 2013 Jeep 4-door Sahara, trail rated. It's got 102,000 miles. Looks good, pretty clean. It could use a little bit of cleanup, but looks pretty good. Yeah. All right, so it's a 2013, 102,000 miles Jeep Wrangler. All right, I want to check this one. It's a 2011 Silverado. It's got 81,000 miles, so really good miles on it. It's a little bit rough. Inside doesn't look too bad. There's the trim that was missing on the side. At least it comes with that. But it's a 2011 Silverado, 81,000 miles. All right, this one's a 2014 Chevy Equinox. Got 116,000 miles. Body looks good. Needs to be cleaned up. Not too bad though. A lot of you have been asking about this mid-tier stuff, so I'm gonna try to show more of it. A 2014 Equinox, 116,000 miles. We'll check, see how much it goes for in the auction. right, here's a good one for us to check. 2014 Chrysler 300. Sorry about the motor behind me. 2014 Chrysler 300. It's got, I want to say 149,000 miles, so right at 150,000 miles. Looks pretty good. I like the seats. It's a 300S. All the way around it. I like the rims on it too. So 2014 Chrysler 300 with 149,000 miles. We'll check it, see how much it brings. All right, here's a good one for us to check. A lot of you have been asking about Tundras. It's a 2006. It's got 143,000 miles on it. Looks actually very good. I like these cars. I like these trucks. These are sweet. So again, looks good. It's a 2006 Tundra with 143,000 miles. All right, a lot of you have been asking for anything Toyota. So this is a 2010 Toyota Highlander, 121,000 miles. Outside does not look great. Inside actually looks better than the outside does. Third row actually looks good, I think. It's a 2010 Toyota Highlander, 121,000 miles. All right, it's a 2015 Tahoe LT. It's got 110,000 miles. Outside looks good on it. Oh, inside a little rough, but still third row looks good. Let's see here. It's a 2015 Tahoe LT with 110,000 miles. All right, here is that 2017 F-150 that could not even get a bid last week. It's only got 81,000 miles. It's an XLT. It looks great on the outside, and it is locked. Now it's unlocked. All right, and the inside doesn't look too bad either. Throw that key in there. Yeah, outside looks, I mean, inside looks fine, outside looks fine. And I remember last week they tried to even get somebody to bid on it at $15,000 and nobody would even raise their hand on it. The seller afterwards said that they wanted $22,500 for it. And it just blows me away that no dealer, there was no appetite for this F-150, because these trucks have been hard to find, and it seems like they have been selling well. We will watch it again and see what happens. All right, here's another one for us to check. It's a 2012 Grand Jeep Cherokee. It's got 130,000 miles. I like the body style of these. This one's actually nasty though, so I want to see how much we're going to get off of this one when we watch it go through. I would assume it's still probably going to be pretty expensive. So it's a 2012 Jeep Grand Cherokee, 130,000 miles. All right, this one's nice. I want to check this out. It's a 2012 Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's got high miles. It's got 169,000 miles, but the outside looks great and the inside looks also very good. This is nice, nice, nice. I like this a lot. So we're going to see what this brings at auction. It's a 2012 Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's got 169,000 miles. All right, you guys have been asking for some older Toyotas too. So this is a 2002 Toyota Highlander. It's got 149,000 miles. Looks like a little bit different paint maybe on the door right there. But other than that, actually looks pretty good. Oh, some seat rip-in. Back seats look good. Overall for the year, looks actually pretty decent. It's a 2002 Highlander with 149,000 miles. We're gonna check, see what it brings. All right, here's a good one for us to check. It's a 2009 RX 350. It's got 141,000 miles. Looks very nice on the outside. Inside, just as clean. Very, very nice. This is going to go for a lot of money. But we'll check it out, see what it brings. It's a 2009 RX 350, 141,000 miles. All right, so we got 8 or 9 on the list to check for you guys to see what the prices are. Last week I was walking into the auction and I didn't have any kind of funny thing to say or catchy thing to say from transitioning from outside lot to in the auction, and a lot of you guys left some pretty funny stuff. So we're going to do a contest this week. So whatever I need to say right here to transition from checking out cars to going in to bid in the lane, put something funny down in the comments, and the best one that we pick out, we'll send you $100. So let's see what you guys can come up with. didn't buy anything, but I'm not surprised. There's a lot more dealers here than there are usually. That's just a factor of tax time. Starting to see tax checks, so there's gonna be a lot more dealers show up at these auctions. A lot less cars coming in from the new car dealers, and prices are just going to be high, and I'm not going to pay them. I don't want to charge my customer what it's going to take to actually make money on the cars that I would have to buy right now. So luckily we loaded up. If you've watched some of my other videos, then you've seen our storage lot. You know that we loaded up for the last few months because we knew this was coming. So it's going to be a miserable time for the next few months as far as buying cars. So if you want to see a used car dealer in misery, then you should subscribe, because there's going to be more of this. But I'm going to continue to show you guys prices of all these cars. At the end of the video, I'll show you the prices of the cars that we checked out earlier. But like the video, because this sucks. All right, just to show you guys what I'm dealing with now, this is a 2002 Honda Accord with 222,000 miles. This is the kind of stuff I buy. I buy stuff for the lower income that they can pay cash for and just get out the door, have no payments, anything like that. So if you were in that genre of people and you had a limited budget and wanted to buy a car and needed to buy a car, now how much would you pay for this car? Just real quick, think about it. So for me, I like to buy these cars for between $1,000 and $1,500 and be able to sell them to my customer for between $2,000, $2,500, maybe max $3,000 if it's super nice. This car went for today $3,100. So that's something to think about with tax time rolling in. That's what dealers are paying for these cars. So that car over there, that Honda Accord, that dealer, they're going to have $3,100 in it. They paid for auction. They're going to have auction fees. It's probably like $300, somewhere around there. And then they're going to have to fix something on it. It's a 2002 Honda Accord with 220,000 miles. Something's got to be fixed on it. So at the end of the day, they're going to have what, $3,600, $3,700 in it. That means they have to sell it for at least $5,000 to be able to make some good money on it. So would you like to pay $5,000 for that car? Probably not. So this is tax time. This is what it looks like, and this is why at these auction videos you're probably not going to see me buying a whole lot of cars for the next month. We're stacked up. I'm not paying these prices. I can't sell that car for $5,000 and feel good about it, so I'm not going to buy it. All right, price time. So that 2006 Tundra, very nice four-door truck, had 143,000 miles. It sold for $10,200. That's crazy money, it seems like, on that truck. Maybe not, I could be wrong, but it seems like a lot of money for that truck. You'll see a theme as I go through this. 2010 Highlander with 121,000 miles. It sold for $12,000. The 2015 Tahoe, it had 110,000 miles. It sold for $19,900. All right, the 2014 Chrysler 300, I think it was a 300S, had 149,000 miles. It sold for $9,800. All right, the 2013 Wrangler, we had this on the community post yesterday. I wanted you guys to guess to see what you thought it was going to bring. It was a Sahara. It had 102,000 miles, and it brought $19,000. And they didn't sell it. They didn't no-sell it, but they put it on a phone call. So they wanted more than that. They're going to try to put the deal together after the auction. But $19,000, and they wanted more than that for it. So the 2011 Silverado with 81,000 miles, it sold for $17,000. All right, the 2012 Jeep Grand Cherokee had 130,000 miles, and it sold for $7,100. So the 2014 Equinox with 116,000 miles, it sold for 7,700 miles. So I've got more on this list, but I want to talk to you about something real quick. So every car except for that Wrangler sold. On the block, it sold when it went through the auction. That is a far cry from what we saw just a month ago. We were talking about all these no-sales. Even just a couple weeks ago, there were a lot of if bids. There were a lot of no-sales going through these auctions. And they're selling every one of these cars almost, and they're bringing crazy, crazy money. So the market, the used car dealers here, they're trying to load up for tax time, and there's not enough inventory for all of us to be able to get. So it's driving these used car prices up. So what you're going to see in the data for next month, used car prices at wholesale levels are going to spike, because they are spiking. We see it right here. We see it right now. And I hope tax time is good for these dealers' sake, because if they can't sell this stuff, they've got way too much money in it, and they're going to get hit on this stuff. I can promise you that. All right, so 2012 Jeep Grand Cherokee, 169,000 miles. It sold for $8,000. All right, this one's interesting. This is the 2017 F-150 that went through last week. Didn't even get a bid at $15,000. This one, I found out what was going on with this. So this is a Canadian truck. So that's why nobody wanted to bid on it. They pulled their Carfaxes or whatever and saw that it was a Canadian truck, and they just didn't want to mess with it. But this week it brought $14,000, and they put it on an if. So I know the last week the seller said they wanted $22,500 on it. So that deal is not getting done. And it's probably not going to get done, because they tried to get $15,000 for it last week. They couldn't get it. It brought $14,000, $1,000 less this week, and just they put it on if, but it's going to be no sold. So they're going to have to figure out what they need to do with that truck. They either got to cut it because people are scared of it because it's Canadian, or they just got to figure out what to do about it. So the 2002 Highlander had 149,000 miles. It sold for $4,400. That's crazy on that Highlander. I just got good miles. It looked good. But for a 2002 Highlander, $4,400 wholesale, they're going to have to sell it retail for $6,000. That's too much. And the 2009 RX 350 had 141,000 miles, and it sold for $9,800. So there you go.